Good morning. Sorry, I'm super nervous this morning. Um, I can be very emotional, especially the older I get. I'm not used to being completely open and completely vulnerable. I'm more suffer in silence type and be alone. But God has made it very clear that we're not created to fight alone. That has been a tough lesson for me. I have scriptures that I use that I prayed over for God to guide me when sitting down and writing my testimony. I want to start with Ephesians 4:22. Um, Throw off your old sinful nature and former way of life, which is corrupted by lust and deception. Before we came to TAC, we for sure were living a life of lust and deception, partying, drinking, going out to clubs, and even doing drugs. My drug of choice was anything that I could crush up and put in my nose. I let myself believe the lie that this kind of help, that I needed this kind of help from being so tired all the time, especially from having an autoimmune disease. When they say there's no tired like thyroid tired, they're not lying. There were days I was so tired I could barely get out of bed. I felt like this stuff I was putting in my nose was my only hope at the time. Living for the world drains you. There were times, there was a time that I had been up for several days and I had to work that day. And I was leaving work and Greg was a few cars in front of me and I passed out behind the wheel. I was headed for a pole head on. My phone was connected to my car at the time and I was talking to Greg, but I never heard his voice. I never heard him yelling at me, but I heard a voice tell me to wake up and straighten my car. At the time, I didn't realize it, but Jesus was with me. When I woke up, I literally could see the pole, and I knew I didn't have time, but He made a way. He made a way. And that brings me to the next scripture, which is Exodus 14:14. The Lord Himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. We went through a time where my daughter came to me and told me that if she didn't get professional help, that she wouldn't be here anymore. That was hard to hear as a mom. You don't want to hear that about your kids at all. I did everything I could to get her help she was asking for. She was admitted for a week and they determined that she had bipolar disorder and depression. At the same time, our niece came to live with us. My daughter became very angry with me, blaming me for everything that went wrong. I was the enemy in her world. No one knew for over a month that I laid in bed and cried myself to sleep, planning on how to stop my heart because I didn't want to feel the pain anymore of my daughter hating me. She's my only daughter. Shortly after this, our niece tried to kill herself twice in our home. A lot of sadness filled our home. God put it on our neighbor's heart to come and pray for me. He sent someone to fight for me. He sent my neighbor to pray for me because he was not done with me. My story is not over. Jesus did not give up on me. During all of this, my niece's grandmother called CPS on us because she thought we called CPS on her. So it was tit for tat. That was the first time and only time in my life someone called CPS on me. We had the visit and she informed us that we would have to take a drug test by the end of the week. We knew we weren't going to pass at that point. I was still doing the things that I shouldn't have been doing. And this, excuse me, I'm sorry. This brings me to Psalms 34:6. In my desperation, I prayed, and the Lord listened. He saved me from all my troubles. We had to take a drug test in 2 days. I was done. I was about to lose my kids, my life, everything. In my husband's grandparents' driveway, I cried. I cried out to God. I begged Him to help me out of this. I promised Him in that driveway that if He helped me, I would never touch these things again. That I would that I would go back to church and seriously live for him. I was desperate. Jesus heard me. Not one single tear that I cried that day was wasted. Not one did Jesus leave out. In our world, there's no way that I should have passed that drug test. That Friday, we got the news that we both passed. That Sunday was the first day that we stepped into TAC. The following Tuesday, I kept my promise to him, and I gave my life back to God, and I was baptized in his name. Jesus knew I needed TAC and the love that has been shown. Our walk with Jesus will not always be easy. There will be times when tests come, and we will need to draw closer to him. We need our strength and our courage from our Creator. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. This will make 4 years that we've called TAC our home. We're still learning and still growing in our walk. I am so thankful that God knows exactly what we need and where we need to be. Before coming to TAC and before I was living in the world without Jesus, my family did go to church. We were at a church for months. We joined classes. I even served as a greeter for several months, and no one knew my name. Not even the pastor or his wife knew that I even existed. And we were never invited to the small groups that they held. I felt so alone there. My last day at that church, I was greeting. And when the service started, I walked out and no one noticed. I gave up. I wanted nothing to do with church after that. Our neighbors kept inviting us to TAC. My husband was ready to try. He was ready to go. I went to a Pentecostal church when I was younger. I knew what to expect. But I don't think my husband was fully aware of what he was agreeing to. At first, I fought against coming to church. Once again, Jesus was ready to fight for me. He kept sending our neighbors over, and if y'all know the Perrys, y'all know. I know now what it truly means when he left the 99 to find one. He was looking for me. I was lost. Luke 15:4. If a man has 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 in the wilderness and go to search for the one that is lost until he finds it? After everything, I knew I needed God back in my life. I had it set in my mind that if I found the same thing in TAC that I found in other churches I have been to, I was done with church for good. I also told my husband, I'm not wearing dresses. I'm not getting rid of my makeup, and I'm not getting rid of my piercings. Boy, was Jesus waiting for me at TAC. Within the first 5 minutes, I felt more loved and unjudged than I have ever felt. Once again, God met me in my desperation. God fought for me to bring me home. And I'm so thankful he did. If he can love me through my stubbornness and show me grace and mercy, then trust me, he can do it for you too. So when Brother Jake and Brother Beers make the statement, if you see someone you don't know, make it a point to say, hey, glad you're here. Even just acknowledge that they're here. It makes a difference, and it means more than you know. I'm proof of that. It could possibly determine if they ever step back foot in our Father's house or not. Last but not least, Ephesians 5:8. I pray, for once you were full of darkness, but now you have light from the Lord. So live as people of light. I pray that my testimony helps someone and it leads them to Jesus. And I pray that I'm a light to others. If you take anything away from this, I hope that you are a light to someone today and every day, because we never truly know what others are dealing with. Thank y'all.